Hello everybody, welcome back to Language, Litigation, and Integration Part 166, Casual Conversations 84. Keeping it trucking. Part 166 of a legal lecture series started after the most important mathematical proof ever done to say, look at these people torturing me, and it's every other fucking day. That's how human beings do it. I'm your host, Bradley Bose. I'm being profoundly and extensively tortured. There is nothing I can do, there is nowhere I can go, and there's no one I can call. I'm going to be tortured until the day that I die because people cannot accept historical facts. So I'm going to keep writing down about more retards. You know how we do it. Always super politically correct, even though I'm probably more mature than everybody. No, I definitely am. But today we'll be doing a bit of history about the Silk Road, like the actual trading route in ancient times. The Silk Road episodes about the online drug marketplace just got me thinking, might as well do a little history blurb about the actual Silk Road. So I did some reading on that. Then we'll do our typical current events and talking points, relevant and random stories, any stories for today. Just a quick one. But the history of the Silk Road, I'm going to put up a picture of the trading map, trading routes right here. Haven't done a picture on iMovie yet, so it might be a big step. hopefully iMovie supports putting pictures overlaid on the video. My old version of Wondershare Filmora didn't until I upgraded to the new one. Then I upgraded to the new one, and it crashed every 2 minutes. Now I'm using free iMovie, which for my purposes works fine. Renders way faster, or converts way faster, so works for me. Oh yeah, then no more relevant random stories. But what have I been doing? Bought another area rug and a fake eucalyptus plant. So keeping my interior design game on 100, not really, but that's what I did yesterday. Jesus fuck, I wish I was dead. My life is just so terrible. Like everybody else, 8 billion people on this planet, every single one of them is allowed to socialize. I'm not allowed to socialize to any extent whatsoever at all. I'll never have a career, I'll never have a family, I'll never be able to go to universities, I'll never be able to lecture, I'll never be able to have any social group whatsoever. Healthcare, access to law enforcement, access to court, a friend or a family of my own, just fucking nothing. My life will be fucking nothing unless people change. And people can't change because they don't know how to. And then just kill a bunch of people and say, not my fucking problem. So, the history of the Silk Road. It was an ancient trade routes of commodities. Who traded what with who? So it was China, Korea, Japan, India, Iran, Europe, the Horn of Africa, Ethiopia and Somalia, Arabia. And then I also watched just thinking geographically, but I watched a clip about The Chosen, some Christian TV show preview with Ben Shapiro. And the dude on there was like, we portrayed Jesus as he was. Ancient Galileans wouldn't know anything about, white Europeans. It's like, Galilee and Israel's not that far from mainland Europe, and they would certainly be aware of people there. So, some more idiots running around. But maps and information, again, the map, I already put that up there. It existed from about 114 BCE to about 1450s Common Era, with about 6,400 kilometers. It's about 4,000 miles of trade routes. It started with the Han Dynasty in China. Most of the Chinese silk and fabric were traded, hence the name Silk Road. They also traded jade, tea, dyes, perfumes, and porcelain. Whenever I go into a museum and I see anything from China, just that blue opal. I swear opal's got to be in there. Jade and opal. That's got to be in there. When I'm playing old school RuneScape and I mine jade, I also mine some opal. And whenever I go into a museum and I see that blue, I just think China instantly. It's like, there's a China. So that's what they traded. From the west, those are the goods and commodities from the east going towards the west, and from the west to the east, mainly horses, camels, honey, wine, and gold. And obviously, anything in history is like, pinning down Ethiopia as the first major human civilization as opposed to, when exactly did life emerge? It's like, in history, it's like, just use an example of like finding a species of birds, right? How many people think we've documented every species of bird? Some hands might go up. How about every species of bug? Probably no hands would go up. How many species of fish at the very bottom of the ocean where people don't really go? They're just like robots sometimes. Certainly, no one would say that we've found all of the species. So in history, it's like pinning down exact dates, you know, in terms of like large-scale evolutions. It's kind of hard to do. I mean, it's just impossible. And my point for this is being, these are the major commodities going from west to east and east to west. So there'd be certain, all types of commodities going everywhere, just the major ones. So that's what's going on there. And that's true for most things in history. It's like specific dates, it's like, yeah, pre-technology where it was recorded every day. It survived many power changes and probably contributed to the spread of Black Death in Europe. No, definitely contributed to the spread of Black Death. Any connection route is going to help transmit diseases. So we can drop the probably there. It abruptly ended in 1453 when the Ottoman Empire severed trade between the East and the West. Most merchants had middlemen and did not travel the entire route. They had caravans. Some of the route still exists as a paved highway from Pakistan and the Uyghur Autonomous Region of Xinjiang, which I don't know if Uyghurs are all that autonomous these days in China. So maybe we're trading the Uyghurs on the Silk Road these days. A little throwback in history. But I just thought that just a couple things, and the map will be up here on the screen. I just thought that'd be some fun facts. Yeah, nothing super interesting, but I read on the Wikipedia entry that there was a scholar that thought that there'd be that thinks it was just a quote-unquote myth, meaning there was no established trade routes. I disregard that entirely. Wherever there's people or organisms, they're going to be more efficient, and human beings trade stuff. They barter the stuff. So, as long as, again, this is certainly well into established civilization, they would certainly be trading, and they would say, yeah, let's make a road. And again, it's not like a paved highway, but just like a route. So, I disregard that. I didn't even have that scholar's name written down. So that's a bit of history about the Silk Road. Now to current events and talking points. So we have a great development and innovation in diet and nutrition. Chris Christie's diet and exercise program is dropping soon. No, like seriously, he's dropping all diet and exercise. Holy fuck, that guy got fatter. So I watched him. On his recent appearance was George Stefanopoulos. Definitely a Greek name on that one. But I've been seeing Chris Christie, and again, like I said, I'm not in politics, but I do so much news stuff. I kind of know some of the major players. Chris Christie was in the running for the presidential race, I believe, or the GOP primary. It's something. I always remember seeing that being fat as fuck. He's the governor of New Jersey for you non-Americans. Again, he hates cannabis. He hates all health. He's dropping exercise and diet from anything. And so be sure to catch that program on your Peloton. Chris Christie, are you ready? Are you ready, riders? Let's get to it. You didn't came to work out. You came to outwork. And Chris Christie pops up on your Peloton bike. He's like, hey guys. So shout out to Chris Christie for, again, demonstrating no behavior whatsoever and being a governor of a state and being fat as fuck. So, and seriously, people say that it's like, rude or shallow criticism of like politics or policy type of thing, but it isn't. If you don't know how to behave, I'm not going to trust anything you fucking do. Nothing. Don't trust a skinny chef. It's like, no, just like don't trust a fat fuck at anything because they don't behave. They don't know how to have any discipline. And seriously, like again, because if you once you've grown up, you don't have like a desire to sit there and eat all the time. People say like they stress eat or eating is their therapy, and it's just like who needs therapy for like what? For anything. I'm sure that logic will be transmitting. That was a good one. You can't break down if you've grown up. So I'm sure that's going to be transmitting through the grapevine of theft. It's the Silk Road of theft. The grapevine of Silk Road of all of Brad's proofs, and just nobody gives a fuck. So shout out to Chris Christie, huh? Just keeping the health in check on that guy. Nick Fuentes hurls a soda at someone who threw ketchup at him. Who the fuck is Nick Fuentes? So I've heard this name a couple times. Again, like I said, I am all over this. Still getting another couple fraudulent calls, harassing calls every single fucking time. 30 calls a day. And nobody that I've actually wanted to talk to besides like my mom has called me in the past 5 years. So just on silent the whole day. Who is Nick Fuentes? I really don't even know who this guy is. I think he was on Alex Jones. He's a is an American white supremacist political commentator and live streamer. A former YouTuber, his channel was permanently suspended in February 2020 for violating YouTube's hate speech policy. He holds anti-Semitic views and denies the Holocaust. Oh, he's 24, an absolute fucking retard. How do these, when people say like you have crazy ideas and get you popular, if you demonstrate potentially violent or judgmental behavior in front of beta male fucks like Nick Adams cracks me up on the Twitter. his fucking Australian accent makes it even better. Hell, if this dude's 20 fucking 4, just get this guy out of society. Ban Nick Fuentes from everything. Just fucking everything. Yeah, just don't let him go into a restaurant, don't let him sit down in a movie theater, don't treat him with fucking respect, fuck his whole fucking family. So yeah, fuck that guy. But, just fuck that guy. I've kind of heard the name, but again, I know most of the major players in the pod. Again, I'm all over the fucking YouTube. So I know all the people in that kind of area. Just this kind of guy never really hit my radar. So fuck Nick Fuentes. Nebraska man gets sentenced to prison for 4 months and 1 year supervised release for leaving a noose on a piece of equipment his black co-worker was set to use. The perpetrator of that crime was Bruce Quinn, 66-year-old male at the Oriental Trading Company. Hey, Oriental, it goes in line with the Silk Road. He pleaded guilty to federal civil rights violations. Like, obviously, the gesture's not nice, but just as a judge, and again, being completely away from any social expectation or whatever, again, just a gesture like that, it's like, obviously racist move, but it's like, that seems like a long sentence, or like an aggressive punishment for like a symbolism like that, as opposed to like saying, well, can hurt this person or do that. But I guess it's a civil rights violation of a federal hate crime or something, so it was more aggressive on the sentencing. You know, obviously shitty interaction and shitty person, but the sentencing on that struck me as like a long time for a gesture like that. But again, as opposed to just a more direct incitation of violence or a direct threat. So I guess it was just the civil rights thing. Biden rebukes Trump for saying the Constitution should be quote unquote terminated. And Kanye West is no longer buying Parler. Is it Parler or Parlay, like the French verb? I don't know. But again, I didn't write down the whole Trump statement, but again, there was a couple paragraphs to it. But again, somebody who's not a strict constitutionalist, it's hilarious saying again, Biden and the rest of the world rebuke the crazy Trump for dashing against the U.S. Constitution. That again is a carnival piece of paper at this point. It's not a real fucking thing. Laws that are not enforced are not laws. There are no laws being enforced here in the entire fucking species, and I'm the brunt victim of everything. And so it's just hilarious. We have Trump kind of trying to be like, we should just have a more, fixable democracy, and then he immediately reverts back to saying elections were stolen. It's like, okay, you kind of had a philosophical point of, we just want our society to work, which is again my point. The only logical point anybody's making is me, and everyone just steals it. That's literally what's occurring. We're living in an anomaly, Brian Sullivan. That's the anomalistic part. And then Biden comes out of, oh my gosh, the screeching balding, we'll just start one to the right jerking off our servicemen. And then they pick up a gun, they go across seas, they turn a corner, whack an Afghanistani child, come back over here, and then I call Sergeant Gilbert, and he's like, or Bill Kosiski, and he's like, who would want to help you? So what Constitution, guys? On either side, on anybody, just what Constitution, what laws? Our society doesn't work, and we don't enforce laws that do exist. So there's no Constitution, there's no laws, there's no decency, there's no morality, there's nothing. But again, we as a society refuse to do the one thing that would actually push our society forward. We lie, we cheat, we steal, we kill, we murder, we facilitate war, and we say not our fucking problem, and then we act, we put on the shit show of like this, like anything fucking matters, right? It's just so fucking weird. There's no laws, there's no decency, there's no values in any part of the human species. Fucking absolutely fucking zero. And Kanye West no longer buying Parlay, however you fuck you say the business. He lost quite a bit of financing with this. And that dude's just a fucking idiot. But see, we had Kanye West supporters take to the streets to spread the good word. Not sure where, if this was in the US or the UK, I think it sounded like the US South. They were openly praising Hitler. They were saying they killed the right Jews. And now on the Ari Shafir special, again, To me, I still don't know what Jew means. Again, they said there's 2 different types of Jew. It's like, no, they're just people describing themselves and forming groups. And so now maybe Kanye picked that up, and then his followers do this. But again, praising a mass murder as opposed to just saying I don't like this group is the big difference for me. And then when you're a very popular person, and you have groupies coming out, defending Kanye and praising Hitler, it's like, this is what we're trying to avoid. So those lovely literate gentlemen spread the good word, and it's probably not anti-Semitic hate shit about, again, groups that aren't even really well defined. So they wear a yarmulke, they go to synagogue, they come from Israel. Israeli, that's a thing. Again, Hebrew, that's a thing. Yiddish, I think that's a language. So Jew. Again, Christianity, what's that? Islam, what's that? Right? Sharia law, the Holy Bible, it's just translation. It's literally just scholars and translating stories of how to behave. That is what is occurring. So, yeah, good job, everybody. Iran abolishes morality police after 2 months of protest for Mahsa Amini's murder. Real change or rebrand? Oh, just kidding. They denied that. Like I said, I can write these down in real time. There's a headline that says they abolished it, and it's like, is it going to be rebranded as just a different department of the regime? And then I believe I just saw this morning that the regime just outright denied shutting down the morality police. But again, sensorality determines morality. Is there any morality in this entire fucking species? No. So, monkeys running around slowly changing their behavior. And again, I don't give a fuck about the protests. I don't give a fuck about the regime. Publish a fucking paper and sentiment will change one by one. That is what will fucking occur. Heaven on earth, mercy mild, God and sinner reconciled. Fucking Christ. But it's really just a historical account of behavior moderating across the entire fucking species. So, one economics point, I guess Kanye West not buying Parley is kind of an economics point, but more so just the social outcry of his behavior. That's why it's in these videos. What is it? Oh, downtown Columbus, Ohio sober bar, the Dry Mill, to shut down. It opened on April 30th, 2022. Am I surprised? The founder said when it opened, there's more to having a good time out than just pounding down alcohol all night. So again, guaranteed, I have no idea who these people are, guaranteed these people went to college, they didn't know how to behave, they wanted to socialize, they blacked out. Now they went into their young 20s to their 30s or whatever, and now they struggled with the alcohol because they still don't know how to behave. And then they're like, we're going to innovate. We're going to create this great experience of no alcohol. Again, if you know how to behave, alcohol's been a social lubricant the entire human existence. So, again, these people, again, you can drink whiskey and rum and tequila and vodka if you want, but it's just like, again, fermented alcohol is definitely going to be fermentation good, alcohol pretty neutral to moderately risky, but it's just like the extreme aggressive behavior, and then the vector of that abuse is alcohol. And then you have a bunch of these people that go out there, they black out, maybe they have pancreatitis or something, and then they just completely stop. And now you get on Reddit and it's like some buck is like every 3 days there's some sort of post about alcohol, and some buck's like, hey man, hang in there, I've been in recovery for 30 fucking years. And it's just like, okay, you guys don't know how to behave, cool beans. Not making a business? Nah, it didn't work. And so again, there's plenty of social avenues that aren't bars, but it's just like the sober bar, like cool. You can buy that's called a gas station. It's called a cafe at the library. And so again, I didn't see any unique draw in here at all. So not surprising to me. Again, and more reflective again, just the overall inability to moderate your behavior, then the alcohol thing, and then the entire society, we throw a pity party for Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous and Gambling Anonymous, and just like nobody knows how to behave. So, not a surprising thing. And as over here, I've had a bar and restaurant open since the pandemic, haven't made a single fucking penny on it, but wouldn't be surprised if we shut down. It's just like, it's impossible to start a business in this country. It's impossible to start a business in this fucking state. And so I didn't go for like a new idea. I just went for a bar and restaurant. maybe make me $25,000 to $35,000 a year, maybe. It doesn't make me dick. So that's good stuff. I mean, it's just so fun. You can't start a business. You can't start a family. You can't do anything in this city or in this country. You can't. There are no laws. And so again, you know, if the bar and restaurant I do have shuts down, it would be fucking hilarious. Because again, if my YouTube channel is popular, I would be advertising it on there. If I was famous, again, I wouldn't even need to have made the investment in the first place. But it's literally just like my life is fucked in every avenue that I've ever tried to do, and I do business all day. So all I try to do is start a fucking career or get something off the fucking ground. And my old neighbor Adam, 18 months ago at this point, was like, "Why are you still working hard?" Because I don't have a career or a family. That's why. So what am I gonna do? Just sit here and do nothing, and then it's gonna get better? Amazing thing is that's what people did tell me to do for 20 fucking years. Just sit there and wait. Be patient with new ideas, Prof. Carroll. Then you block me on fucking Twitter because you're a fucking loser. And you're slowing down science, blocking me from access to any information and slowing down science. But does anybody care? Again, in the future, nobody's gonna listen to anything you've ever done or gonna listen to one of your podcasts. They're gonna watch this shit and say, "Fuck that guy." And everybody named here is just in history in profound and extensive eternal shame. Because you earned it. You deserve it too. You're disgusting fucking people. North Carolina residents out of power after someone intentionally shot up the power plant. And I saw another headline about this. Seems to be an act against a drag show or something. I am not for drag shows for children. Again, I'm not for anything sexual, straight or otherwise, for children. But and trust me, again, as somebody who's been through puberty, I can assure you, from age 11 up to until you're dead, you're pretty much going to start thinking about the sex. So the curiosity, again, naturally asking parents questions or trusted guardians questions, as opposed to go to school and learn about it. But don't start jerking off, Republicans. Don't start jerking off. I'm not your fucking hero. Legalize cannabis. Let me own a gun with cannabis, a cannabis card. Publish a paper. Enforce the law. Everyone's just a bunch of hypocrites. So is that terrorism? So I saw another headline on Reddit, and again, every hive mind idiot that has no idea about law, history, anything, they haven't read years and years and years of books. They haven't lectured for years and years and years of lectures. Now they splurted out the word terrorism. So again, terrorism by definition causes terror. So, they might, they're obviously saying, it's an attack against the power grid, so it's terrorism, an act against the country. So there'd be more of like sedition, actually, I believe. Just like a violent uprising, a sedition against but it's kind of against people, it's against the government. So just strictly going off definitions, is this terrorism? Obviously bad thing, obviously attacking the infrastructure of the planet, terrorism. Is it causing terror? Might cause death, but it's not like if you shoot up the power box and then Granny's power goes out and her ventilator goes off and she dies, did you cause her terror? Maybe? I'm honest, is Granny in there being terrified that the power just went out? Probably not. She's probably like, why? What happened? So I don't think this is terrorism. Obviously, an act against the power grid of the country, or the state at least, or the locality, principality. But I don't think this is legally would be called terrorism. And terrorism in general just causes terror. So we need a better term for attack against the country. And sedition is a violent uprising against the government itself. And this is just like sabotage. Yeah, maybe domestic sabotage. That's a good word for this. But again, the Reddit armchair warriors just have to throw out the most aggressive word they can find because they have no education whatsoever. Uh-oh, another hard-working police chief out there. Another good one, another one of the good apples. Another good girl in blue. Tampa Police Chief Mary O'Connor resigns after flashing badge and asking to be let go from a traffic stop. The resignation was requested from Mayor Jane Castor. Mary O'Connor, give James Gilbert a call, give Gary Lewis Jr. a call, give Lane Bryant or Andrew Ginther here in Columbus, Ohio, the mayor and the governor of the state will state sponsor violating the law. So if you want to flash your badge and get away on any sort of crimes, if you want to come harass me, if you want to menace me, if you want to charge at me with a gun on my property and I have the right to defend myself, and you should come to Columbus, Ohio, where a bunch of hillbillies, inbred fucks, first cousin fuckers, don't know how to behave. Is this Brad Boas? Are you laughing? This is just me and my speaking voice, and you don't know how to behave, and you're going to get this weird contusion, conflicting, insecure behavior when you deal with my presence that's going to occur until people recognize my work publicly, and you're an officer and you can shoot me. Calm the fuck down, old man, and get the fuck off my property. So yeah, Mary O'Connor, just come to Columbus, Ohio. This is state-sponsored treason here. You can get away with basically anything you want. You can shoot black people unarmed in their back in their garage. That is definitely here in Ohio. We like to do stuff like that. You'll get off scot-free. There'll just be no anything. But yeah, that's again, police is again. I want every law enforcement officer genuinely take out a piece of pen and paper and write down what is a gang. Your words, not mine. You define a gang, and I guarantee you are a hypocrite. I guarantee the words you write down describe your fucking self. Organized, ongoing criminal activity. Publish my paper, Article 1, Section 8, Subsection 7 of the United States Constitution. I have a right to my writings and discoveries. Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution. You cannot take private property for public use without just compensation, as every university on this planet distributes my research. So come to Ohio, Mary O'Connor. You can be a gang member with a badge, and you will get paid with taxpayer dollars. ABC benches Amy Robach and TJ Holmes after romance disclosure. Didn't violate company policies. What do I think of coworkers fucking? So, I wanted some Amy Robach. Fuck TJ Holmes, a little skinny ass nigga. Fuck out of here, TJ Holmes. I want some Amy Robach. But the ABC just said, it didn't violate any policies, but it wasn't, they're not sure what's going to do for the vibe of the show or the tone of the show. And I've watched this show a good amount. This is GMA 3, which I don't know, it's Good Morning America at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But benches them, I don't know, because if the disclosure wasn't public and the show was going fine, and I watched the fucking show, I think it goes pretty fine, except for Dr. Ashton comes online and then steals and says it's some bunk cannabis study because nobody knows how to fucking behave. But so this show specifically, I wouldn't have benched them. No, it didn't violate company policies, and you didn't know they were fucking before, and you're like, they're fucking. It's like, why would that change the dynamic of the show? But in general, as long as it doesn't affect their work performance, I really wouldn't care. And again, obviously, the HR, if you're a boss, you're a 30-year-old boss, and you have an 18-year-old intern or a 20-year-old, again, as somebody who, again, reluctantly sets their Twitter below the age of like 23 because I'm running out of people to swipe on. Can't imagine trying to seriously date a college chick. Again, not because of the age gap, literally just because of the college and maturity. Again, dating a 25-year-old as a 35-year-old is a lot more realistic to me than dating a 20-year-old as a 30-year-old. And I want someone my age. Like I want someone I consider my age, plus or minus 2 to 3 years. And so it's just like that's never going to happen because people don't behave and they don't grow up until they're dead. So it didn't affect their work performance, and it was not an abusive scenario where it was manipulative or give me a blowy for a raise. Then I would have no problem with coworkers fucking. Or dating, more respectively. The man who shot Lady Gaga's dog walker gets 21 years in prison. He had a previous felony. The lovely gentleman's name is James Howard Jackson. He's one of 3 perpetrators. Kind of briefly, pretty much remember the story. The dog walker gets shot. He steals 2 French bulldogs or something. Then they ask for the dogs back, and he just returned them somehow, or just left them somewhere and said, "Hey, they're here." So that's a productive use of a life. Go steal a famous person's dog, attempt murder on the dog walker, give the dogs back, and they get 21 fucking years. Good jobs, James Howard Jackson. You sound like a good quality intellectual criminal, a real high-hanging fruit. The FBI's not gonna get that guy if he started selling drugs on the internet. So it's kind of a quick episode. I had a lot of talking points. We got through them pretty quick. Just a quick story. Getting conned into another family gathering. I'm sure this is gonna go well. And so I got a text from my mom yesterday. My parents' family is having a Christmas gathering at my parents' house, and so my brother's coming in town from out of town. I told him he could stay at my house, And he responded like, yeah, sure, that's fine. But it's just like, for whatever reason, when I read it, just like sorry? Like, it was literally just like, hey man, if you need a place to stay, I got a ton of fucking space. You're welcome to stay. And again, it's not like obligatory. Like, again, people like to do their own thing if they have friends or this or that. It's like, go do your thing. It's just like, hey, I have plenty of room if you need a place. Like, oh yeah, cool. It's like, whoa, so sorry for asking or offering or whatever. I could just misread it, but I don't misread anything really. So it's just like, sorry for asking. And I was just thinking about it. It's like, do I really want to go to Christmas? Like, I told you I'm a cousin, my aunt, my uncle, and frankly, my uncle has 5 kids. Yeah, no, 4 kids. Yeah, three sons. Yeah, 3 sons and a daughter. but their family's big enough where it's like 2 of my cousins are firefighters, and so if they're not like scheduled to work, they pretty much do like their own. They have a big enough family to have their own family gatherings. And so it's like, I don't know who all is going to be there. It's going to be the same crew from last year. Oh boy, that's going to be fun. Like I said, my cousin's like kind of like into a government program with physics and something, and it's just like, and again, they said they got offended about me teaching history, and they think I was like attacking the Christian faith, and I'm the most literate historian ever, which provides knowledge and understanding, which is more than what Jesus did, literally himself personally. And just like saying that offends the fact of the history. And again, I'm convinced after reading 55 pages of this thing, nobody's read this cover to cover with any sort of historical understanding of the entire like environment, time frame, what's going on at all. And I proved this shit without even knowing what the fuck was going on, and to the point I got kicked out of university. And so it's just like, people in my personal family involved in physics and the government is like, gets offended that I like exist. It's like, yeah, it's gonna be a root-tootin' fun family gathering. So I just text this is in a group chat with my mom and my brother. So I just text back something like, nothing aggressive. I was like, I think I'm going to pass on Christmas. Everyone's disrespected my life's work, and I just wanted to stop. And again, thank you to all those people that have good family dynamics. A lot of people out there have shitty families because no one grew up and nobody knows how to behave. But if you have a good family, you know who the fuck I am. Thank you for fucking up my family personally. You guys enjoy the holidays because you've done so much for this community. You have done so much for sentiment. You've done so much for education. You've done so much for love. But so it just says back like, I'm not sure if I'm feeling the Christmas vibe. I'm not feeling the love, feeling the good spirits, the good vibes. And so my mom calls me, and like I said, I've always had tiffs with my dad. My dad's way more immature and insecure. My mom's still immature and insecure about money and some stuff, but I get along with my mom better in terms of like understanding her behavior when she's not being a boss bitch. But my mom calls me and she was like, your brother just called me like all freaking out, like, because again, like I'm in this weird world where it's like I'm not famous, but I'm like, people like know what I've done is like huge, and I'm just a normal fucking dude, like please don't treat me with so much disrespect, I can't eat dinner tonight. And hilarious, like I told you, like again, literally this is literally a year ago. I told you when my uncle insulted me, it was literally at least a direct interaction, and I could start eating my food better. Like I'm not kidding when I'm saying people do not acknowledge my life so I cannot eat food, and people that just have never experienced that. Like, they just brush it off. And it's literally the most extensive torture you could literally ever go through. And I've been dealing with this for 7 years. And so, people will not let my life integrate into the sentiment of the human species. And so my mom calls me and she's like, your brother's all freaking out like he did something, and it's not. Again, like, they project their insecurity and their emotion onto my words. I'm just like, you're welcome to stay here if you want. If not, it's not a big deal. Sorry for offering. And again, not like in an offensive way. But then they consider this ranting. This isn't lecturing, this is ranting to them. Jordan Peterson goes and rants, and he gets paid money to do so. And I teach people facts, and they project onto me, and this is how I got scapegoated. Their emotional state and their immaturity, their insecurities become my problems, literally. And it's everybody. And so again, once you grow up, you can't break down. I'm never super happy, I'm never super sad. I would like to feel content. I would like to feel safe. I would like to feel happiness in a relationship. I'm never like sad, I'm never like scared, I'm never just like the pussy emotions. I just don't get that shit. Like it's privileged. It's literally a privilege to feel emotions because you feel safety. When again, just on a non-intentional, potentially life-threatening scenario. Again, you're hiking and your foot lets loose and then you fall down the mountain a little bit and you're holding on there. You're not thinking about what's for dinner. You're not thinking about do I want to paint my walls white or red, or Little Johnny's got a soccer game. It's just pure focus of what do I do, one foot in front of the other to not die. And that is the mindset I am in today, for real, literally. And so I can't feel happiness. I can't feel safety. I can't feel excitement. And it's not because I'm emotionally depressed and sad. It's I am pushed out of interactions. I am not allowed to socialize. When I do socialize, I get disrespected and denigrated. Like I said, with my uncle, just any sort of direct interaction allows me just to interact, not even explain myself, but just talk to somebody. And so people don't understand my proofing in my life is so far out of social understanding, and my personal life has just been denigrated to nothingness. I don't ever get to express myself, ever. And I'm talking it's so hard to explain about it. With a direct example, it is the most empirically evident thing ever. But an insecure person or a group of insecure people can shut down the conversation. Just like with my aunt, again, who wasn't even part of the conversation last year, comes over and is like, okay, that's enough. Enough of what? Enough history? Enough teaching people how to, just my research? I mean, the most important discovery in human history, and my aunt and cousin and uncle get offended about what? Me existing. So that's the thing that I don't get. People hate me. They don't know why. They just fucking hate me. Now we're sitting there like, sweet. I'm on a planet where literally nobody can fucking treat me with any sort of respect, and I can't eat food. I'm gonna die. And they couldn't care. Could not fucking care. So, I'm sure we'll have some more riveting discussions. And even if it isn't profoundly disrespectful, there was a 0% chance anybody in my family will acknowledge anything I've done in the past year. Now I've been day in, day out, working on everything I possibly can. 10 active lecture series, boatload of fucking music, a ton of research, offering $10 million for constitutional rights. I have $250,000, about $200,000 cash of legal money right now today. Hey Johnny, you have a music outlet. You have a music something. Here's a series of 38 guitar lessons. I'll pay you $5,000. Go do something with it. I'll pay you $10,000. Go do something with it. I'll pay you $100,000. Go do something. I could have a career today. Right? We have the YouTube streaming awards going on. We have the Nobel Prize ceremony. I follow that dude on Twitter. Whoever won the Nobel Prize in Physics today is an absolute fucking trap. He's a thief. He's a liar. And again, enjoy your rock. Enjoy your party with your 5 friends. Enjoy the 8 billion people that are alive on this planet today. The only people that you have helped will ever give a fuck about your existence in this life and the next. You've earned eternal fucking shame. And you're fucking minute, if I'm ever allowed into society, everyone that is involved, you go to fucking jail, you face capital punishment for treason, and I take every penny in your bank account, and your fucking family gets shunned out of society. Be nice, behave, and don't tell me how to fucking do anything when you can't moderate your own goddamn behavior. It is fucking disgusting. I will be tortured until the day that I die, because other people do not change their behavior, they do not do their job, and they're too fucking incompetent to fucking change. So seriously, if you are over the age of 12 and you're aware of my work to any capacity whatsoever, you were involved with hurting the next person. You will be remembered in history for the people who you have helped and for who you have hurt, for the actions you've committed and for the actions you have omitted. And so, keep enjoying your privileged society of disgustingly fat, nasty families. And I will continue over here, not really giving a fucking shit, trying to start a career and a family of my own, with complete and utter no success. And again, all of the anger, all the tension for me comes from literally being aware that I cannot eat food when I am being tortured. And it is the easiest fix ever. One email, hey Brad, we might publish your paper in about this amount of time. Every university on this planet is aware. Every major business owner on this planet is aware. Every major newscaster on this planet is aware. Fuck your families, you have an enemy for life. And your 5 colleagues, 10, 15 colleagues you're friendly with, and your 2 to 3 to 4, 5 good friends, and your 2 to 10 person family it's like 50 people. And I've taught everybody. So again, I'm not vengeful, I'm not revengeful. It's just you guys have hurt people, and you need to take punishment for your actions. Facts. So thank you for watching Language, Litigation, and Integration Part 166, Casual Conversations 84. Enjoy the holidays, stealing from me, dumb fucking thieves. Die in shame.